Grace Mitchell checked the time on her phone for the 10th time as the bus crawled. Through the snowy streets, 7:45, she was already 15 minutes. Late for her blind date, her daughter Lily sat beside her, bundled in a too-small winter coat that Grace had been meaning to replace but could not afford. "Mama, are we going to miss Christmas?" Lily asked, her small voice worried. "No, baby. We are just running a little late. But we will make it, I promise." Grace's babysitter had canceled at the last minute, leaving her with an impossible choice: cancel the date her best friend Rachel had spent weeks arranging, or bring Lily along and hope the man would understand. She had texted Rachel to explain, and Rachel had assured her it would be fine, but Grace knew better. No man wanted to meet a date for the first time on Christmas Eve with a 7-year-old in tow, especially not at a nice restaurant, where Grace clearly did not belong. The man, whose name was Michael, was supposedly successful and kind, but Grace had learned that successful usually meant impatient, and kind often came with conditions. Still, she had promised Rachel she would try, and she desperately needed to get Lily to this restaurant because afterward, they were supposed to go to the children's Christmas Eve service at the church across the street. It was the one thing Lily had asked for this year. Since Grace could not afford presents when the bus finally stopped near the restaurant, Grace gathered Lily's hand and hurried through the falling snow. They were 30 minutes late now. He would be gone. She was sure of it. But when she pushed open the door to the cozy restaurant, decorated with twinkling lights and a beautiful Christmas tree, she saw him, a man in a dark suit, sitting alone at a table by the window, watching the snowfall. He looked up as they entered, and Grace felt her breath catch. He was handsome in that refined way that made her acutely aware of her worn coat and scuffed boots. But more than that, he looked kind. His eyes softened when he saw Lily Grace approach the table. Pulling Lily along, "I am so sorry I am late. I am Grace. This is my daughter Lily. My babysitter canceled, and I should have called to reschedule, but I did not have your number, and I did not want you to think I stood you up. And I completely understand if you want to leave." She was rambling. She knew it, but she could not seem to stop. Michael stood, smiling gently. "I am Michael. And you must be Lily." Lily hid behind Grace's coat. "She is shy?" Grace apologized. "That is okay. I am a little shy too sometimes." He gestured to the seats. "Please, sit down. I am glad you came." "You waited," Grace said, surprised. "Of course I waited. Rachel told me you were running late because of babysitter trouble. I told her to let you know it was no problem." Grace pulled out her phone and saw the unread message from Rachel. "Oh, I did not see that. I was so focused on getting here. Well, you are here now. That is what matters." A waitress came over, and Grace's heart sank when she saw the prices on the menu. Everything was expensive. Far more than she could afford. "I should probably just get water," Grace said quietly. "Lily and I already ate." It was a lie. But she could not let him buy her dinner when this was clearly going nowhere. Michael looked at her carefully. "Grace, Rachel told me a little about your situation. About how you are raising Lily on your own, working 2 jobs to make ends meet. And I want you to know tonight is my treat. Please, order whatever you would like. Both of you." Grace felt tears prick her eyes. "I do not need charity. It is not charity. It is dinner. And it is Christmas Eve. Let me do this, please." Lily tugged on Grace's sleeve. "Mama, I am hungry." Grace looked at her daughter's hopeful face and made a decision. "Okay. Thank you," they ordered. And as they waited for the food, Michael engaged Lily in conversation. He asked about her favorite subjects in school, what she wanted to be when she grew up, what she had asked Santa for Christmas. Lily, warming up to him, told him about the doll she wanted but knew her mama could not afford. "But it is okay," Lily said seriously. "Mama works really hard. She cannot buy everything." Michael's expression softened even more as they ate. Grace found herself relaxing. Michael was easy to talk to, asking thoughtful questions about her life without making her feel judged. He told him about working as a waitress during the day and cleaning offices at night, about raising Lily alone after her ex-boyfriend left when Lily was a baby, about trying to give her daughter a good life despite having so little. "You are doing an amazing job," Michael said. "Lily is wonderful, happy, polite, clearly loved. That is what matters most." Most days I feel like I am failing her. You are not. Trust me, I know what failure looks like. This is not it. After dinner, Grace checked the time. We should go. The Christmas Eve service starts in 20 minutes, and I promised Lily we could go. The one at the church across the street? Michael asked. Yes, it is free, and Lily loves the music and the candles. Would you mind if I joined you? Grace looked at him in surprise. You want to come to a church service with us? If that is okay. I do not have anywhere else to be tonight. What about your family? Michael's expression clouded briefly. My parents passed away a few years ago. I have no siblings. Rachel has been trying to get me out of my empty apartment on holidays for months. This seems like a much better option than sitting alone. Grace understood loneliness. She and Lily were their own family. But there were nights when the silence felt overwhelming. Okay, you can come. The church service was beautiful, candlelit and warm, filled with families singing carols. Lily sat between Grace and Michael, her face glowing in the candlelight during the service. Michael leaned over and whispered to Grace, "Thank you for letting me be part of this. Thank you for waiting for us, for understanding about Lily, for not running away. Why would I run away? Most men do when they find out I have a child. They want someone without baggage, without complications. You are not baggage. Lily is not a complication. You are a family. That is beautiful." After the service, they walked slowly through the snowy streets. Lily walked ahead, catching snowflakes on her tongue. "Can I ask you something?" Michael said. "Of course. Would you let me help you? Not as charity, but as a friend. I own a company and we are always looking for good people. I could offer you a job with better hours and better pay. You could stop working 2 jobs. Spend more time with Lily." Grace stopped walking. "Why would you do that? You just met me. Because I have more money than I know what to do with, and I see someone who could use a break. Because Lily deserves to have her mother around more. Because you deserve to not be exhausted all the time. I do not want to be someone's pity project. You are not. Grace, I have been lonely for a long time. I threw myself into work after my parents died, and I forgot how to connect with people. Tonight, with you and Lily, I felt like I was part of something real. That is worth more than money." Grace looked at her daughter, then back at Michael. "Can I think about it?" "Of course. No pressure. But the offer stands." When they reached Grace's bus stop, Michael waited with them until the bus arrived. "Can we see you again?" he asked. "You want to see us again?" "Very much. If you will let me," Grace smiled. "I would like that." Lily hugged Michael's leg. "Thank you for dinner and for coming to church with us. Thank you for letting me, on the bus ride home." Lily fell asleep against Grace's shoulder. Grace thought about the evening, about Michael waiting for them at the restaurant, about how he had treated Lily with kindness and respect, about how he had not run away when he saw her situation. Most men would have left after 5 minutes, but Michael had stayed over. The next few weeks, Michael became part of their lives. He started joining them for dinners, sometimes fancy restaurants, sometimes pizza at their tiny apartment he came to. Lily's school play and cheered louder than anyone. He helped Grace figure out her resume and coached her through interviews for positions at his company. "I do not want you to feel obligated to give me a job," Grace said. "I am not. You are qualified, and we need someone with your skills. I am just helping you get your foot in the door." 3 months after that Christmas Eve, Grace started her new job. It paid 3 times what she had been making, with normal hours that let her pick Lily up from school for the first time in years. Grace felt like she could breathe. "Thank you," she told Michael one evening. "For what?" "For changing our lives, for seeing us when we were invisible to everyone else. You were never invisible. You just needed someone to look." 6 months after they met, Michael asked Grace and Lily to move in with him. Not his penthouse apartment, but a house he bought in a good school district. "I want you to feel like this is your home, not mine. I want Lily to have a yard to play in and neighbors her age." "Michael, this is too much." "It is not enough. Grace, I love you. I love Lily. I want us to be a family." Grace felt tears streaming down her face. "I love you too. But I need to know this is real, that you are not going to wake up one day and realize you made a mistake. The only mistake I made was almost leaving that restaurant before you arrived. You were 30 minutes late and I had my hand on my coat ready to go. But something made me wait. And I am grateful every day that I did. 1 year after their Christmas Eve meeting, Michael proposed. He did it at the same restaurant where they met. With Lily helping him plan the surprise. "Lily and I have something to ask you," Michael said. Lily pulled out a small box. "Will you marry my daddy?" Grace laughed through tears. "Your daddy? He is not my real daddy, but he is my daddy in my heart." "He said so?" Michael knelt down. "Grace Mitchell, you walked into my life on Christmas Eve when I was about to give up and go home. You were late, flustered, apologetic, and perfect. Will you marry me?" "Yes, yes, absolutely yes." They got married the following Christmas Eve, in the same church where they had attended that first service. The ceremony was small and intimate. Just close friends and family. Lily served as flower girl, beaming with pride as Grace and Michael exchanged vows by candlelight. Grace thought about that snowy night a year ago. She had been so afraid of being late, of being judged, of not being enough. And Michael had waited not just for 30 minutes, but for a lifetime. "I promise to always wait for you," Michael said in his vows. "To be patient when life is hard. To be present when you need me. To be the partner you deserve." Grace wiped her tears. "I promise to let you in, even when it is scary. To build a life with you that honors where we have come from and celebrates where we are going. To choose you every day," as they kissed, Lily cheered. And the small congregation clapped 2 years after that Christmas Eve meeting. Grace and Michael sat in the same restaurant. Lily was 9 now, thriving in her new school, and Grace was 7 months pregnant with their son. "Do you remember being 30 minutes late?" Michael asked. "How could I forget? I was so sure you would be gone. I almost was. But something told me to wait. Best decision I ever made?" Grace squeezed his hand. "Thank you for waiting, for seeing us, for loving us when we felt unlovable. You were always lovable. You just needed someone to show you." As they watched the snow fall outside the window, Grace thought about how much had changed 2 years ago. She had been a struggling single mother, working 2 jobs, unable to afford Christmas presents. Now she had a husband who adored her, a daughter who was thriving, and a baby on the way, all because one man had decided to wait. Sometimes the best gifts do not come wrapped in paper. They come in moments of patience, acts of kindness, and the courage to stay when everything tells you to leave. Michael had waited 30 minutes in a restaurant on Christmas Eve, and in return, he had gained a family. Grace had arrived late and flustered, certain she would be rejected, and in return, she had found a home. Sometimes miracles look like ordinary moments. A man waiting at a table. A woman arriving late with her daughter. A connection that should not have worked but did, and sometimes, the greatest gift you can give someone is simply staying waiting, believing they are worth it. That Christmas Eve night had been cold and snowy, filled with anxiety and hope, but it had also been the night everything changed, the night Grace and Lily stopped being alone, the night Michael stopped being lonely, the night 3 people became a family, all because one man decided to wait. If this story warmed your heart this holiday season, please like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful tales about patience, unexpected love, and finding family in the most surprising places. Leave a comment sharing your thoughts on the power of waiting for the right person, or tell us about a time when someone's patience changed your life. Your stories remind us that sometimes the best things come to those who wait, and that real love shows up even when it is late.